Leicester failed to win and everybody else did. That front line is looking absolutely dominant. They look like a machine at the moment. Another 2 goals last night. A little glimmer. We said at the weekend that everything had gone for Leicester. They won and nobody else in the top 6 managed to. The universe evened itself up this midweek and we had exactly the opposite. Leicester failed to win and everybody else did. It was a bit of a shocker then at Hillsborough. Top versus bottom, record-breaking leaders versus relegation certainties. But Wednesday got themselves a late equaliser from Hendrick to hold the Foxes 1-1 after Fatawu's first half goal. Look, Leicester didn't lose and have a ridiculous points total so far to work with, but that is now just 4 points from the last 4 games. And whatever the context previously, that is just not good short-term form. We'll talk about West Brom shortly. Leicester go there at the weekend, and that now is not an easy game. In second, Ipswich closed to within a point of the leaders with a 3-1 win over Millwall. It was all about bouncing back after defeat at the weekend for Town and a brutally clinical first half with Chaplin, Luongo and Broadhead all scoring put Millwall out of commission for the night. The home games are going to be vital in a hard run up to Boxing Day for Ipswich. This is a very good start in that regard, and judging by the results we're about to discuss, it was very important to win last night. By the way, if you're keeping score, still no 11 out of 11 for me on the Fan Hub Team Predictor feature. No Williams at right back, he was injured, and Broadhead started when I thought he might get a rest. Look, if you think you can do better, get involved yourself, download the Fan Hub app and use the promo code BEN-CU7. Leeds kept up the Championship's only undefeated home record with a 3-1 win over Swansea. That front line is looking absolutely dominant, and all 4 of Somerville, Peru, James and Rutter got in on the act. Between that quartet, the combined goals and assists is a ludicrous 41 already. Never losing at home and your forwards scoring tons and tons of goals sounds a fairly sound promotion strategy, doesn't it? Leeds are top of the 8-game form table, but they are not top of the 10-game form table. That would be Southampton, who are 10 undefeated and won for the 5th time in 7 games last night at home to Bristol City. He's a right back, Kyle Walker-Peters, but he curled home beautifully with his left foot to take all the points in that 1-0 victory, keeping up this strong run for Saints. All of that now means some, not all, but some significant gaps have closed up a bit. Ipswich are now only 1 point behind Leicester. The gap between 2nd and 3rd stays at 7 points, but now Leeds are 8 points off the top and Southampton 9 points off the top. Bit of a squeeze there. It's been an astonishing standard set by Leicester and especially Ipswich, given the other 3 sides are all Year 1 parachute teams. Both Leeds and Southampton could also be at the 2 points per game mark in 2 games' time, both of them. On fire! West Brom looks so impressive at the moment, don't they? And it was another win and another clean sheet coming through 1-0 down at Cardiff. Absolute banger of a goal from Sarmiento, and Corberon's baggies are looking a lot like Corberon's Huddersfield used to when they used to take the lead. Very, very hard to get back into a game against. That is 5 wins in 6 for West Brom, 8 clean sheets in the last 11. They look like a machine at the moment. Great test though of their viability, as we already mentioned, at home to Leicester at the weekend. The way they set up, nobody would want West Brom in a playoff semi-final. Speaking of being on fire, Sammy Smodic, take a bow. What can we say? That's surely player of the month for November. Absolutely nailed on, isn't it? Another 2 goals last night, 6 for the month, as Blackburn eased past Birmingham 4-2. Both lovely little chips too. 13 for the season, 6 in his last 4, and no doubt a nice pay hike as well with that new contract he signed this week. Birmingham back down to earth, 1 win in 7 under Wayne Rooney, and that was at home to the bottom side Sheffield Wednesday. The pressure is ramped up now at home to Rotherham this weekend. Now, you might see a YouTuber with millions of subscribers and views a week driving a Bentley. It's a bit more modest, I have to say, when you're covering the Championship. So if you can find a few quid each month to support over on Patreon or by hitting the join button here, you are making the world of difference for myself, Shaylee and Enid. Turning point. Lovely old week for Coventry so far, and they are on for the fabled 9.3 game week. Haven't conceded a goal either after their 1-0 win at home to Plymouth on Tuesday night. I backed him in the bold predictions. Had you right, got the goal. I've always thought that Coventry would trend up, and they have now hit, well, the dizzying heights of 15th, but they did go back-to-back wins in October and then didn't win for the next 6 games. So I will take the long view again before we can really call this a proper Sky Blues turning point. Plymouth, they need a turning point themselves, especially away from home. I mention it every week and I'll keep mentioning it. 0 wins in 9 now on the road. The Norwich fans, they are seriously waiting for their new sporting director to have some kind of turning point with manager David Wagner. The beleaguered boss, he's certainly lost the away end now, and those Norwich fans had to witness their side go 2-0 up and then lose 3-2 for the second time in just 5 weeks. On the plus side, for Norwich, every cloud. Sarah got another 2 assists. Nobody has more in the Championship. Small mercies, hey. Watford 1 defeat in 8 now, just outside the top half, but very much trending in the right direction over the mid-term. Lovely feat, by the way, from Spreer for the winning goal. Savagery. Couple of big savage wins up in that northeastern area of the Championship at Hull and Middlesbrough this midweek. Both of these sides have playoff aspirations. Both actually failed to win on the road at the weekend, so both will have enjoyed banging in 4 goals this midweek. Hull destroyed managerless Rotherham 4-1 at the MKM. I know this is not news to anyone who follows the Championship, but let's just double down again on Jaden Philogene being absolutely fantastic and enjoy him while he's in the division. Filthy backheel goal. Hull, 13 points from 6. You've got to love that. And back in the playoff spots. Middlesbrough, well, they've got less margin for error than the Tigers after their horrible start to the season. It just went on and on, didn't it? They were back to winning ways, demolishing Preston 4-0 on Tuesday. First half double from Isaiah Jones, setting them well on their way. Only Leicester and Ipswich can better Borough's 26 points from the last 12. That's excellent, isn't it? In the Championship, they are currently 3 points off the playoffs, and we all know that if the next 12 games are even within a handful of points of that last 12 games, then I suspect we'll be seeing Borough in the top 6, and they can look forward to a second straight season, maybe in the end of season knockouts. Bottoms up. Now, don't mind me, well, I break my arm patting myself on the back, but in the bold predictions, I said that one of QPR or Huddersfield would break their winless streak and be victorious this midweek. They bloody both did. How about that? QPR never win at home. Well, not for over 260 days, I think the number is in fact, but they did this midweek. 4-2 over Stoke, and all of those streaks we were talking about can be ticked off. They all come to an end, and hopefully for the Rangers fans, it's going to be a nice jumping off point for Marty Cifuentes after his first win. They're going to want to push towards that mid-40s points target that he'll no doubt be privately eyeing up. Lyndon Dykes and Chris Willock both scoring will certainly help change their status as a couple of probably underperforming players there at Loftus Road. What the Championship gives with one hand, it takes away with the other. QPR could not close up on Huddersfield as they, as I mentioned, 1-2, impressively actually, up at Sunderland. Now, I say impressively, it wasn't the most viable win, but we know Sunderland are vulnerable to these type of data outlier defeats, and fair play to Huddersfield for a resilient and battling 3 points. They took their chances. Will the tide now start to rise at the bottom of the table? There we go, that is the latest hot takes. Be sure to check out the Championship Check-In podcast as well. You can click here, set yourself a reminder to join us tonight, or watch it after the fact if it's already happened. Time travel, baby.